Good evening and welcome to this July 14th, 2025 meeting of the Akron Public School Board. Dr. Thompson, roll call, please.
Mr. Alexander.
Present.
Ms. Autry.
Present.
Dr. Jackson.
Present.
Dr. Molinar.
Present.
Mrs. Sykes.
Present.
5 present, 2 absent.
Member Hall is entering now.
Oh, never mind. I'll say her name. Ms. Hall. 6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Member Sykes, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Member Sykes. We have no recognitions at this time. We do have one request to address the board from Mr. Reverend John Beatty, I believe is the name. Just as a reminder, participants will not be permitted to speak on matters related to vendors, business matters, formal complaints, grievances, specific students or student records, personnel matters, and potential or pending legal matters. Participants must speak on matters related to the business of the board. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. The board will not respond, but will assign through the superintendent the appropriate person for follow-up. And please state your name and group affiliations. Pastor Beatty, you may come to the mic, please. Reverend, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Good. I come here as a proud parent of 4 children, 3 adopted, 1 homemade, and an additional 5th child that we count as our child in the Dominican Republic. 3 of my children had outstanding service from Kenmore High School. One of my children was a student at Garfield High School. And our Hispanic student was an excellent swimmer and raised the quality of swimming program at Kenmore dramatically. And he's really, we hope to see him again in November in the Dominican Republic. But anyway, it grieves my heart as I remember the final destruction of the Kenmore High School. My 3 older children had outstanding teaching, and one gave excellent advice. He was in the process of winning the Battle of the Bands in the saxophone category, and he was planning on being a professional musician. And his music teacher said, what's your plan B? Your original plans might not work out. And as it was, he took her advice and became a doctor, that he served veterans for some 30 years. And very proud of all of my children. One became a city council person, a support person. One is now the second in command of the largest social service agency in Cleveland, the Centers Incorporated. I come urging the board to be strong in supporting another facility where the Kenmore High School building was destroyed. I plan to speak again this Friday and in favor of building on that site. It is needed in that Kenmore area. They lost their name, Kenmore, when it was going to be Garfield Kenmore, and now it's just Garfield. We need a facility on that site. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Abidi.
Thank you.
That does conclude the requests to address the board. Next, we will have board member reflections.
Go ahead. I'm just trying to.
Are there any board member reflections? Yes, Member Hall.
Thank you, Madam President. It's been a while. Love that pink. I just wanted for the city together as a whole, that the city of Akron won the All-American Cities Award, which is huge. This will make it our 4th time winning, 1981, 1995, 2008, and 2025. So way to go, Akron. Also, we've all heard and seen what's been going on in the newspaper with our children. These are our children. And, what are they doing out past curfew? What's going on? What is the needs of our parents? I've had a lot of parents say, hey, there's nothing for our kids to do, or I need help with my child. I'm losing them. They're out in the street. I work. I need help. I would love to come together with groups, individuals, whomever, to try to find ways to help our children, because these are our kids that are affecting each other. And the crime rate is just sad. The deaths are sad. And I have children, and although these kids may not be mine, but they are ours here in the city of Akron. So, I remember when I was younger, there was like Dan Street that kids could go to that were in trouble, or like a safe landing. We don't have that anymore. So how can we figure this out together to come up with things for our children? And how can we help our parents who are struggling that need help? It has to be some solution, something to help these kids out and these parents. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hall. Are there any other board member community reflections? Dr. Molinar.
Thank you, President Jackson. I want to begin by wishing everyone a joyful and restful summer break, but then say a special thank you to the families and educators and partners who are continuing to support our students even when school is out. So summer is an important time to recharge, but it's also helping to keep our kids engaged and connected. Some of our out-of-school time partners are doing just that, and I've had the pleasure of visiting Camp Invention, 2 Camp Inventions actually, the program that was started by the National Inventors Hall of Fame, as was highlighted in the Beacon Journal. So I went to the NIFSTEM Middle School Camp Invention, and it's happening now at Resnick. And although Gilby's Garden, that I mentioned at our last reflection, has ended, the camp spirit continues. The families and camp leaders are still returning to care for the gardens they planted because the camp is over, but as every Ohio gardener knows, you still need to wait to harvest. So we need to water, we need to weed, and so those families are continuing, and the program is rooted deeply enough, even though the schedule has ended. And it makes me think about recruitment. So these types of programs are building bonds between our families and the schools, and that connection matters. And while my own children are participating in a lot of summer camps and we're staying connected in that way, I know if they weren't, some of the only school-related communication I've been receiving is from a lot of our competitors. I get an email probably every week from Odella. And so other schools are reaching out, offering options, making the case to our families. And I know in a few of our community reflections, I've asked, what is our recruitment strategy? What are we doing to keep our APS kids here in APS that's equally as proactive? And so if someone could contact me, email me, give me some information about what we're doing to encourage people to come back and also encourage people to stay. This past weekend I attended a birthday party and I couldn't help but notice how many parents were already talking about how excited they were for fall at their various schools and how much information they already had about their schools. Last week was Amazon Prime Days. 330 to Go posted teacher wish lists, and they were talking about class lists and who their child's teacher was and extra things they could buy to support their new teacher. Talking about the tax-free weekend is coming up, and so there's an opportunity for us to build excitement about the school year that we're about to have. So it's information about our homeroom teacher, our class lists. Some families might not know if they have access to busing or transportation. I don't know if that has been communicated to families besides the supply list, but I just want to encourage us to build an excitement and sense of readiness. So as a parent, I will be looking for that communication that will help us start preparing for fall. And I hope we have a good rest of summer. Maybe I'm the only one who's looking forward to go back to school.
Thank you for those reflections and comments, Member Molnar. Vice President Alexander, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. A couple of things. I wanted to first, someone I missed saying congratulations. She is retiring from Akron Public Schools after 30-plus years, is Merge Freeman, and she's worked in a number of different departments, kind of kept her head down, and you really wouldn't know Merge a whole lot. But then again, if you got to know her, you know who Merge is. But she is retiring, and so I want to say congratulations to her. The other thing is Dr. Molnar is always talking about the camps, and I had an opportunity to go to one of the camps by default. My daughter had 4 of her wisdom teeth pulled, and so I had to go and pick up my granddaughter from camp, and it was at Hatton. And I was really pleased as well to see all that they were doing with our kids. I mean, it was very good. The first day that I picked her up, she started talking about Pawpaw. And she started talking about an inventor who I didn't even know who was talking about, and what they did and what they invented. And I'm thinking, shoot, let me go and research this so I know, so I can really talk to her about it. But she's 5 years old, so she came home talking about what they did in camp. And so it was very nice. So I got a chance to go a couple other times, and I went to the last day when they had their departing words for the campies. And so, but it was a very good camp. They had a lot of, in 1 week's time, they did a lot of inventions. They were like 3 different assignments that she was able to bring home that they did, learning all types of things. So I thought that was very good, very educational. And I wanted to thank the director, Mrs. Desiree Smith, who was the director, and her assistant directors, Julie Breck and Tracy Starks, and also the teachers who, my granddaughter talked a lot about the teachers, and she specifically named one Mr. Blake. And so I want to say thank you to Mr. Blake, Rachel Albra, Vita Edwards, and Andrea Sorovi, who were the teachers there and instructors, and they did a very good job. The parents were involved. It was really nice to see how active the kids were and the parents were involved in that camp. And they had a number of kids who were special ed too, but you would never known that they were special ed the way that they ran the camp. So I just wanted to make sure they had a shout out, and that Dr. Molnar, she's right, that these camps are doing a lot of good things for our students over the summer. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Alexander. Next, Member Autry.
Thank you, Madam President. And so since we last met, I had the opportunity to participate and see the Bicentennial Parade, which was last week. And there were so many of our scholars represented in various groups, cheerleading, youth organizations. And so I just wanted to say a special shout out to all of those camps, those coaches, those organizations, the volunteers who help keep our youth engaged during the summer months, just kind of touching on what my colleagues have already mentioned. And along the same lines, today I was able to see a bit of a press conference held by the 100 Black men who were addressing the very issues that Member Hall was discussing earlier. And so they essentially had a call to action, because there are a lot of good things going on, but sometimes we're just operating in silos and we're stronger together. So their call to action was for other organizations to come together, recommit, collaborate. They mentioned that they were doing some mentorship programming in 4 of our buildings. That's going to be increasing to 6. So I'm sure they're going to need some more help with that. And so, as we read these news stories about our young people, there's a lot of finger pointing. But I just want to remind everybody that at the end of these fingers are arms that we should be wrapping around these young people as well as their guardians. And so sometimes people laugh when I mention PTA a lot, but some PTAs do operate in the summertime because they recognize that there's a need there. So I'm encouraging everybody, whether you have a child or not, to just get engaged with your local school to help with our young people. Also, last week I had the pleasure to attend our State Science Day ceremony. I want to thank Dr. Halassa, who just continues to be amazing for us. So apparently there was a ceremony in Columbus that happened over spring break, and so she vowed to the families that she would make sure she made that up. And I was so amazed to see so many students and families at this celebration last week. And just to mention, 90 of our scholars went to state for science. And we were commended by the executive director of the Ohio Academy of Science as having the largest concentration and participation of any district in Ohio at the state level. So kudos to all the science teachers, Dr. Halas and her team, for making sure that happens, because that qualifies us to apply for the Governor's Award. And just a little fact, APS has been doing science fairs for 69 years.
Wow.
And so again, congratulations to those students and families who showed up and packed the room out, and Dr. Halas and her team. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Right. Thank you for that information and for those mindful reflections. Lastly, I think everyone shared their reflections. Are there any other from board members? Okay, none. Just lastly, to Member Hall's point, I think Member Autry has spoke to this as far as things that are available to our students as far as organizationally and what they can get involved in. And so I would like to just, as part of my reflection, speak a little bit to that as I reflect as well as Member Molinar discussed as far as the summer camps and what are our efforts, or making sure that people are aware or being able to engage in those. And I remember inquiring some time ago about the accessibility as far as those students getting up and being engaged and able to go. Most students that partake in summer camps are coming from households that whether we had summer camps or not, more likely than not, they will be in someone's summer camp and able to get there and get dropped off. So that's something for us to explore as well. As far as programming for young people, 100 and Black Men have mentoring programs. I know that is guys and gals mentoring program in the community. I know the Akron Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta has Delta Academy and Delta Gyms. Also, Summit Lake offers different programming. It's just so many things that the city offers and the county supports that it does not even have to be, income does not need to be a barrier. So I think the real discussion is how can we more engage families, and then when families are not engaged, then what? Because some students, they can't get themselves to the camps. They can't sign themselves up. Schools send flyers. They send all call alerts, emails. Other than knocking on doors. And even when you knock on doors, how can you ensure that students are able to come? Which brings me to another community staple, the Boys and Girls Club. that are nestled within communities where it's walking distance. And I know we had the organization present to us, I can't remember the name, but it was about the green spaces, and so that we do things with these green spaces in walkable neighborhoods, which also heightens accessibility to those things. So I definitely wanted to highlight and talk about that, because I think it is important when for out of school time, that's a reasonable time. What can everyone collectively come together to do? The school district has a role that we play, as well as the community. So thank you all for your very well thought out reflections and information. And as one said, we do have work to do, and we can do it together. So thank you. That concludes my reflection. Never mind. I can talk about it in my report. Thank you. Next, we will. It's the president's report.
There you go.
All right, this will be very brief as part of the president's report. Speaking of things that our community offers, Summit County is a wonderful county to be located in. I tell you, the funding and the things that we have that's supported by our county executive and just our community at large is amazing. One of those things that the school does benefit from, like our JOGS program, and we know that our CTE, when they presented up, has done a wonderful job giving us information this year. JOGS is a part of that, and our high school students are able to take part into jobs throughout the city. And so I've been fortunate enough to see a lot of our students from the Bookto cluster, primarily is who I've seen, working at various locations and camps around the city, and I've talked to them. And I've also had the pleasure of registering a lot of our students to become voters, a lot of our recent graduates and our 18-year-olds, specifically from Bookto cluster, Garfield cluster, and East, specifically are the students that are able to register. So I was excited about that, and excited that they are engaged in something positive during the summer where they're able to make money. So I definitely wanted to highlight that programming and the work that the district is doing also to ensure through CTE to ensure that our students are getting connected with these opportunities throughout the summertime. And that concludes the president's report. Next, we have the superintendent report as well as updates. Superintendent.
Thank you, President Jackson. At the last board meeting on June 23rd, we presented our Distinguished Employee Emeritus certificates to those individuals who retired with 30 or more years of experience, and at least 25 of those years with Akron Public Schools. This past Friday, we received certificates of special congressional recognition from Amelia Sykes, member of Congress, 13th District of Ohio, for each of our distinguished employee emeritus. The certificate that I would like to share with you will be mailed to each of our emeritus recipients, and it states Certificate of Special Congressional Recognition under the sponsorship of Amelia Sykes, in honor of your dedicated years of service to Akron Public Schools, for your outstanding devotion. You have earned the respect and esteem of many in the wake of your departure. Be assured that your numerous contributions will not be forgotten. I am confident that your fine character and decisive leadership will be missed. I wish you many years of happiness and prosperity. So we'll thank you. We'll make sure that these are mailed to all of our emeritus recipients. Also, in response to concerns received from some of our families, I have requested adjustments to the 2025-26 and 26-27 school calendars to accommodate anticipated spring primary voter election days. So during the division recommendations, resolutions, and motions, you will see a motion under item number 22.3 for an amendment to the 25-26 school calendar previously approved by the board on June 10th, 2024. For the 25-26 school calendar, the following changes are being proposed. Friday, March 27th, 2026, will change from an all-staff professional development day, also called our Instructional Improvement Day, to a staff and student day. Then on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, we will change from a staff and student day to an all-staff professional development day. It is our understanding that that is the primary election date. Also, the 26-27 school calendar was presented to the boards for the board's review at the May 27, 2025 board meeting. I am now asking that you consider the approval of item 22.2, motion to approve option 2 of the 26-27 school calendar. And this option includes the addition of Tuesday, May 4th as an all-staff professional development day. And my final item is just to thank all of our partners for their support and generous donations via grants to our scholars, and your contributions are truly appreciated. That concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you, Superintendent. We appreciate that. There is no treasurer report at this time. Is that correct? Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Next, we'll have the approval of the previous meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve regular board meeting minutes for June 23rd of 2025?
So moved.
It's been moved by Member Hall. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Vice President Alexander. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, roll call vote, please, Dr. Thompson.
Dr. Jackson,
Yes.
Dr. Molinar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Next, we will have personnel recommendations from Superintendent Outley.
Thank you, President Jackson. Does the board have any questions about the personnel items for Section 10, professional staff and administrators?
Yes, Member Hall, you recognize.
Thank you, Madam President. I just have a quick question, and I know I've asked this question before, and the answer was this is what usually happens, why we get all these resignations around this time. This is what usually happens. But has anyone ever asked why? Has anyone ever asked some of these professionals, this is about what, like 20, 25, just on the first 2 pages of resignations of teachers, assistant principals. Have we, as an administration, reached out to these teachers and asked why? And once we get the answer, do we try to figure out what we can do better to keep our teachers? Akron Public Schools is a great place to work, great benefits. A lot of teachers talk about that. Why is that? So, has anyone asked, or can I? No, I'm just trying to figure out, has anyone ever asked that question to these teachers?
Yes, thank you. Member Hall, Superintendent Outley, do you have?
Yes. So yes, and personally, I know some of the actual reasons, and they vary from moving to illness they vary just for the stability of the economics of our district. You'll see some of the administrators. There's always a concern for finances is one of the concerns, if that's a question. I could have our a representative or Ms. Carter come up to share, but we do exit surveys, so we do know there's a variety of reasons. But what is most concerning for me is when there's a concern for them about us being stable financially.
Yes, Member Hall.
Just a quick follow-up. So, but what about the ones that want to leave because of no support? You know, I try to attend a lot of schools, during the school and go visit and talk to people. And some are just tired because there's no support. Nobody's listening to them. They have great ideals. They have ways that they know that they can educate the students, but they're not being heard or supported. So I understand the financial part and all of that stuff and, illness and what have you.
Moving.
But what about the other stuff that's not the okay, this is, basic. Like, what about the teachers that are really trying to educate our kids but aren't getting the support? Like, is there channels for these teachers to go to or staff that they can talk to? And if they're not being heard, how are they encouraged to go to the next level? Or are we just saying, we hear you, but we're not really listening?
No, absolutely. Our staff is very important to us in APS. And if a teacher, which I cannot say personally it has happened to me, but if you're saying personally it happened to you, I would recommend they start with their principal. If they felt like telling you, I've already been to the principal, each of our schools have a supervisor. I would suggest they go to the supervisor, and then the supervisor would turn it over to, it depends on the situation. If it's a staff relations, we may send it to our human resource department, to Todd Wamans. So we really would need to do a root cause analysis for each person, because each person could have a different reason why they're feeling that way. Because we encourage and applaud teachers for showing their personalities and being unique and trying to think outside the box so that they can reach each of their kids. That's part of their OTES evaluation, is how do you reach your individual students? So we applaud those efforts. So it has to be something more, and we would like to hear about it.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? All right. Thank you, Superintendent.
I'm sorry, if there's no more questions for that one, we'll go to section 11, miscellaneous. Any questions for miscellaneous? Section 12 is supplemental, I'm sorry, yes.
Yes, Member Molnar.
Thank you. I have a question and comment on section 11, so I'll kind of work backwards. 11.4, make sure that's the right one. Yes, the natatorium program. I know there's been a lot of questions in previous meetings about the use of our natatorium, and I know I haven't received anything in Friday notes about the use of the natatorium, so I wanted to use this opportunity to share what I believe to be true, because someone else told me, and if it's wrong, someone please correct me. But we've been talking about the use of the natatorium and access to swim teams and things like that. And so in addition to the summer swim lessons, which I know Member Autry has spoken about, and in addition to safety around water, which I know you talked about, and I think Member Harrison also mentioned, there's lifeguarding training. But the fast swim team, tryouts were held April 19th, and the fast swim team is not just for Firestone students, but even students who weren't even APS students could try out for the fast swim team. So this is something that is available to students from all around our district and even beyond our district. And so that season was May 2nd, it's right now, May 2nd to August 10th, according to what someone told me. And the fall-winter practice runs September to March. And so maybe as a district, we can find out as that new season of practice starts, maybe around September, ways that we can communicate across the district access to that swim team. Because if they're practicing then September to March, I'm guessing then they'll be ready again for tryouts for anyone who wants to be on the swim team. So that way we can make the use of that pool more available and more welcoming across our district. So I wanted to mention that potential opportunity. And then also I wanted to ask a question about 11.2 because it wasn't on the agenda. So for the public, usually when we have positions like this with the general fund, it says new or replacement. So can we just clarify on this item if it was new or replacement or something else for 11.2?
Super. Thank you, Member Walner.
Is that a question?
Yeah, is it new or replacement was her question, that position 11.2?
For Julia Mann, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, 11.2. Julia,
Okay,
yeah.
yes, she's returning. She is retired and coming back to do some work for us under graduation. So it's a continuation of work she has done in the past.
Okay.
But it's for a new year, so we need to send her to board.
Thank you, Superintendent. Are there any other questions? All right, Superintendent?
Are there any questions under Section 13, substitute teachers? Section 14, tutors. Section 15, support staff. Section 16, paraprofessionals. Section 17, child nutrition. Section 18, maintenance, operation, transportation. Section 19 is security. There's no items under Section 20 for students. So if there's no additional questions, I wish to recommend the approval of the personnel recommendations presented in categories 10 through 20.
Thank you, Superintendent. Is there a motion to approve the personnel recommendations presented in categories 10 through 20?
So moved.
It's been moved by Vice President Alexander. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Member Hall. Any discussion? Member Autry?
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to mention in item 10.2, the retirement of Clara Blackwell. She was a very valuable person in the Buchtel community. I knew her as a parent in the PTA first and a volunteer. She went on to coach girls basketball for some time, and I was able to witness her get her credentials and become a teacher for us. And so I just wanted to acknowledge her out loud. She made really good relationships with our students over there in that community, and just wish her a happy retirement.
Thank you, Member Autry. Any other discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Dr. Thompson, roll call, please.
Dr. Molinar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Ms. Hall,
Yes.
and Dr. Jackson.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Next, we'll have the division recommendations and resolutions. Superintendent Outley.
Does the board have any questions about the division, recommendation, resolutions, and motions for Section 22?
Member Molinar?
Thank you, President Jackson. This is not a question, this is a comment. In the superintendent's report, you mentioned item 22.2 and 22.3 as a reaction and acknowledgement to the parent concerns about primary election day. This is another item that I was out and about over the weekend, and people came to me, parents came to me, did you see on your agenda that they acknowledged the primary election day? And so, sometimes in urban schools, we get a bad rap and people think parents aren't involved, parents aren't engaged. Parents read our agenda and came up to me at a grocery store over the weekend. So this is recognized, and I am excited, and they say thank you to you. I am passing that message along for that, so thank you.
Thank you, Member Molinar.
If there's no additional comments or questions, I wish to recommend the approval of the division recommendations, resolutions, and motions in Section 22.
Thank you, Superintendent. Is there a motion to approve the division recommendations and resolutions in item 22?
So moved.
It's been moved by Dr. Molinar. Are there any discussion? Sorry, it's been moved by Member Molinar. Is there a second? Excuse me.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been seconded by Member Autry. Any discussion? Member Sykes, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, and members of the board. While I do want to say to the superintendent and the staff for recognizing the concerns that Dr. Molinar has continuously brought to the board about the safety, I do also want to say that I am one of those individuals that believe that that the issue of having our students come in contact with the voters, of having the students see the voters come into our schools, and having students understand this is voting day was a real exciting thing. So while I can support this and I appreciate this, I still want to make sure that we are constantly monitoring this, because it is important that our students, first of all, as you talked about, President Jackson, registering our children, and that they understand what's happening on voting day, that they understand why people are coming into their school to vote, and that they look forward to the opportunity of being able to register and to vote. So I'm a little saddened that our children may not have that opportunity to see their parents come to vote and to see their neighbors come to vote. But I am still pleased with the fact that there are some of our parents that are feeling better about the safety of our schools. So it's just kind of balancing both of these that I think are very, very, very important. So I thank you, Madam Superintendent, for working something out with your administration and with the parents and with Dr. Molinar. But still, you know, this is, while I will vote yes for this, this is still, I'm still torn to not have our children at the school to see their parents and their family and the community coming into the school to vote, because this is the fundamental of our democracy. Thank you.
Very well said, Member Sykes, and thank you for those comments. Are there any other discussion? Sure, Superintendent, if you'd like to speak.
Member Sykes, one thing we could do as well is encourage the parents to take their children with them, because now they're not in school and they get to I did that with my niece. I took her with me. I went early in the morning before school and took her, because I agree with you. They need to see the process in action and know that and it was a good experience for her. So I agree. Trying to make it win-win.
Thank you. This is a very excellent conversation. I think we can expand upon this later, because it was very interesting as I was registering students and some young adults and students who did not want to register. That's another conversation, but I think Member Sykes is hitting on some very important points that need further fleshed out, because just as a quick point of privilege, we know that we had people address us about, is civics still being taught in school? What does that look like? And I'm going to tell you, just because of my affiliations outside of this board, both with my sorority and my church, voter registration is very important, and civic participation is important. So that's why I was just randomly, it may seem, having registration and registering people to vote. It's a part of my regular life. But I was very concerned, to Member Sykes' point, as far as what you see you can be, because I grew up that it was not an option. As soon as you were 18, you were registered. That was just what it was. It was normal. And that understanding, especially as a school district, and modeling that and how we push it out is very important. So that is just my point of privilege, and I know that can be addressed more in instructional policy. But it is a very alarming, the number of young people that were not registered and did not care to register. Like, adamantly told me they didn't want to register. That blew my mind. So thank you all for the work that you're doing around this, to both secure our parents and also to invigorate our democracy, and how important that people lost their lives so that we can have the right to vote. So thank you. If no other discussion, Dr. Thompson, roll call, please.
Mrs. Sykes?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Dr. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Molinar?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Next is our business affairs recommendation. Superintendent Otley.
Does the board have any questions for section 23?
Yes, Member Molinar.
Sorry, one more. Section 23.1, I wanted to point out that at our last board meeting, I asked for more information about our playgrounds. So thank you to Ms. Falk for reaching out to me with information about our playgrounds. I want to just use this opportunity to tell everyone what she told me about our playgrounds. And so she said, APS playgrounds are available to our community when APS is not in session. When APS has students or staff on site, playgrounds are part of the regular school use time, but when it is not in session, they are considered to be used by the community for the same time period that public parks are open within the city of Akron, which means the playground is open from dawn till dusk. APS does expect users will clean up and remove any trash from the property, walking dogs, and things like that. And also, a lot of our little leagues use the ball fields and things like that for the playgrounds. So I know that we have some students that might not be in camps right now, but they might be squirmy and might want to play on a playground. So during the day, right now this summer, some of those playgrounds are still available to come bring your kids and play and be involved on our school, use our facilities for that. So I'm excited for that. I'm also excited about this project and would like the legal committee possibly to look at this to see if we need a policy or any differentiation between this project and the rest of our playgrounds. What makes this different than our playground, if anything, than the rest of our playgrounds? So that's why I wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Molnar. Member Hall.
Thank you, Madam President. Just to kind of piggyback off with the announcement of our playgrounds, I've always thought you could play on the playground. You know, I mean, who monitors that? Because with my kids, we always walk to the nearest school and play. It could be nighttime. It could be daytime. Who monitors that? Or when you say policy, are we trying to put a policy? What does that look like? I guess when you
Please
say
address
policy,
the chair.
I'm sorry. We're all one. Like, what does that look like? Again, I thought our playgrounds were open to the community, to the taxpayers. I never knew there was a policy or saying we're allowed to do it. We just did it because it's a playground and the kids go to those schools. So I'm trying to figure out what would the policy be.
Okay. Member Molinar, if you want to follow up, or Ms. Falk, because I don't know I think the policy, if I'm understanding that you're referencing, but you can clear it up, was around this the green space, the new walkable green space, and if it's still going to be connected with our playgrounds, then what will be different is what I thought that I was hearing, but remember Hall's point is still clear and well taken. Even if that happens, if it's not already existing policy, because like Member Hall, I too just thought, we walked to the playground. We used to go to Firestone Park all the time when I was young and play on the playground, and used to have basketball courts. So I don't think there was ever a disconnect. Actually, I misspoke. For certain people, like I never considered that you couldn't go to the playground, and families would walk to them. And so, as your explanation, which I think was a wonderful explanation, thank you, Ms. Falk, and added clarity to that, and it was a good question. Member Molnar, people have those questions, but I, like Member Hall, I never did. However, it sounds to me that the policy is just like from dusk to dawn. Is that a policy, or is that just a unspoken understanding? Ms. Falk, if you can come to the mic. I'm sorry, I don't want to belabor this, and then Member Hall, please feel free. I'm going to yield comments to you at this time if you need to follow up with Ms. Falk.
Yeah, just real quick. I mean, I thank you and appreciate this conversation about the playgrounds being open, but it kind of concerns me for us to even think about, because we're doing something new on our playgrounds, to then shut it off to the community because we're enhancing or, whatever that may look like. So could you just explain, is there a policy or?
Actually, it's just an operational procedure, and the question was from Dr. Molnar as to when they were available. So the point is, the response is when we are in session, when our students are actually outside, say at recess, then we will advise a family, please, for safety purposes, to go ahead and exit the playground. But once we are done with it at the end of the school day or after-school events, by all means, please come. The dusk to dawn is the standard for the city parks, and we put that together as an operational procedure so we were equal to whether you were going to the city parks, the fields, or whatever, so we were operating under the same standards. And we do occasionally have issues that occur at night, and if they come to our attention, we try to investigate and obviously work our security staff and the local authorities should something come up. It is rare that that happens, but it does. So that's how it came, and it's been a long standard procedure to everybody's understanding that yes, playgrounds are available when we're not in session or using them, but we've extended our after-school time and our summer use. When I was a kid, there wasn't any summer programming at schools, and it was in Dr. Molnar's question that I answered, and then she said, where would you find that information? It's actually on our website underneath, CLC rentals, that it also says those pieces of information if somebody was investigating. So we were trying to make it more out into the public notices to what the standard times were. Thank you.
Are you good, Member Hall?
I'm good.
Okay. Member Molnar?
Yeah, thanks. And to, I guess, clarify my question for the legal committee is, and I appreciate this, and I did not know that the parks were, or the playgrounds were open when school was not in session. There were gates on some of the playgrounds, so I didn't know if I lifted the gate and walked in, am I supposed to be here or not? So it's good to know that, yes, I can be here, and my kids, we can play here. If we see someone, we shouldn't pretend like we were here all along. No. But my question about the policy is, as it's related to item 23.1, I really appreciate the information sheet that was in Friday notes about this Trust for Public Land project and the steps that we can go through as we were preparing for this project. But I was wondering, as we're building this, or as we move forward with this, how this is similar or different to the playgrounds that we have. And that's where I think the legal committee could come in, is seeing how this would be, where this is situated compared to the ones that are attached to our school buildings.
Thank you for that, Dr. Molnar. Are there any other questions, discussion? All right, seeing and hearing none, Dr. Thompson, roll call vote, please.
You're going to need a motion first.
Is there a motion? I apologize. Is there a motion to approve the business affairs recommendations?
I move to approve the business affairs recommendations.
It's been moved by Member Autry. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been second by Member Hall. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Dr. Thompson, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Dr. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Molinar?
Abstain on 23.10, yes on the balance.
Mrs. Sykes?
Yes.
I got to abstain too. I'm sorry for you.
Okay.
I have to abstain from 23.22.
23.22?
Yes.
Okay. You guys do this once a meeting to throw me off. So we are, with the exception of 23.10 and 23.22, we are 6-0. And on 23.22, we are 5-0 with one abstention. And same is true on 23.10. We are 5-0 with one abstention.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Next, we will have our committee report, starting with legal contracts and board policy.
Thank you, Madam President. We have no report this evening, but we will be meeting next month, August the 4th, here in this boardroom at 4:30. That will be, Policy Committee will be meeting August the 4th at 4:30 in this room. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Alexander. Next, Finance and Capital Management, Member Sykes.
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance Committee did not meet this week, and our meeting is it also August 4th? When is our Finance Committee
I
meeting?
will look that date up, but
Yeah.
we do not meet in the
We
month
do
of
not meet in the
July.
month of July at all, right?
Yeah, so we'll be able
So-
to announce on the 28th.
Right, right.
All right, thank you. Next, we have instructional policy and student achievement. Member Autry.
Thank you, Madam President. No report at this time. We actually meet Monday, August the 4th, at 4:30, and legal meets at 5:30. It's okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Member Autry, we have no unfinished business. Is there any new business? There is also no new business. There is a need to go into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22G for preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
It's been moved by Vice President Alexander. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Member Autry. Any discussion? Thank you. Seeing and hearing none. Dr. Thompson, roll call, please.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Dr. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Molinar?
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. We stand in recess at 6:26 for executive session.
Yes.
We stand back in session at 8:25 from executive session. There is no action that needs to be taken at this time. Our next meeting will be Monday, July 28th at 5:30 p.m. right here in the boardroom. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved by Member Hall. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Vice President Alexander. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Dr. Thompson, roll call vote, please.
Dr. Jackson,
Yes.
Dr. Molinar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. We stand adjourned at 8:26 p.m.
See some daylight.